As you can see here, this is my Anthropology 104 course for Queens College. And, I end up getting a B minus for this course. While all of my other courses, I end up getting A's. I end up getting A plus, A plus, A plus, and an A. Except for this, I end up getting a B minus. So this was around March 2023. So the first exam, I end up getting a 58. And I'm a good note taker. But the problem here is that the professor is a bad communicator. The information that he distributes to the class is ineffective. It's not helpful at all. It doesn't actually help me know exactly what's going to be on the exam. So when I took the exam, I was the last person to leave the class. I was the last person to hand the exam to the professor. That's how confused I was. I was very confused because the information that I studied from the textbook. I've been studying from the textbook for the whole February of 2023. I spent hours each day studying from the textbook. Didn't help me at all because the professor, is the one who knows the reason why I end up flunking is because the professor didn't give me enough information or give me the correct information to know exactly what's going to be on the exam. Now I know they talked about morphology, syntax, semantic semantics. And, I understood that, and they speak about different concepts that have to do with anthropology. Like anthropologists, I wasn't able to know exactly what to study. I was completely lost in this class, and my classmates on WhatsApp. So this is a WhatsApp group. They're complaining that they don't have enough information to prepare themselves for this exam. They don't know what to do. They had a meetup. I couldn't meet with them because I have class during that time, and I wanted to eat my food, my dinner. I mean, not my dinner, my lunch. So as you can see here, one of my classmates said I tried. He said just use the index of the textbook, and then all of a sudden this person here said this another classmate said somebody just needs to take really good notes. So when this person, or I call it a person, I'm gonna call it a classmate because the way this person spoke to me, as if I'm an outsider, like I'm not his fellow classmate, right? And I'm a student that goes to Queens College. It's a 4 year college. Somebody just needs to take really good notes. So when I first saw that response, I said to myself, this is quite unusual, right? This person here is speaking to me like they're better at they're better than me when it comes to taking notes. They're better than me. They're better at taking notes better than me. They're better at listening to exactly what the professor is saying than me. That's what he's implying. So if that's the case, why not private message me and text and actually share me your notes? Why are you not sharing your notes with me if you're a good note taker? If you're really good at taking notes, right? Because this person here is showing himself or herself up in front of in front of the class. Because there's over how many people in the class? There's over 100 students in class, showing himself or herself up in class. To humiliate me because I just said I said to the class we need to tell that professor to create an exam review sheet so we can know exactly what terms are going to be on the exam. We need to know the terms. This term is going to be on the exam, and not just the terms, what pages these terms are in the textbook. They like have a guide on how to like use the textbook to guide us on what's going to be on the exam. And the professor, he's really lazy. Doesn't even write on the board or anything. He doesn't write on the board. He just he's verbal. When it comes to teaching, he verbally teaches us. He just reads from a book, or he just speaks about politicians that have nothing to do with anthropology. Talks about chupacabra, Bigfoot. Talks about his brother. It has nothing to do with this exam. All right, but yeah, this person here response is quite unusual, and it tells me enough about his or her social skills. And this person here forgot forgot the purpose of this group. This group is not to insult someone. You're not supposed to insult another classmate. Say, "Oh, to me, it was to me. This is an insult. You're actually disrespecting me as a human being. You need to respect me as a human being. I'm a fellow student. I'm a fellow class. I'm a student in this class, and I'm your classmate, and you're disrespecting me on this WhatsApp because I mentioned that we need to tell the professor to create an exam review sheet. It tells me enough. Instead of the proper way of handling the situation is to give me, if you want to teach me, if you want to give me tips on how to take better notes, right? You need to give me an idea how to take better notes. You would actually show me your notes, knowing that we can prepare you know the class, not just me, others, so we can be more well prepared for the next exam during the spring break, because during the spring break we have 2 weeks off, and we can sit down. Everybody that my classmates can sit down. We could go on Zoom, and we can actually talk to one another on how to prepare ourselves for the next exam. Or we can just share the notes and look over it and see what's going to be on the exam. Maybe the professor's going to ask this question. Maybe this is going to be on the exam. The speech. I'm just using an example. The speech network, the speech community is going to be an exam. You know, maybe they're going to talk about the anthropologist is going to be on the exam. Is they're just showing this person is showing me he doesn't have no social skills. Is missing human features, and it seems to me is this quantum computer loves to make people speak to me this way. Not just my classmate, also my aunt. As you can see here, my aunt had mentioned someone having a birthday coming up. What do you want to do? Someone, like I'm a stranger, and I'm not a stranger. So as you can see here, my classmate, the same person who mentioned somebody just needs to take really good notes. As you can see here, this person mentioned the review sheet. Well, what do we study? Laugh my fucking ass off. The review sheet, and he has these emojis. The review sheet. And they're not talking about the review sheet from the professor. He never created one. They're talking about a review sheet that someone created. That a different class had put out on the internet because their professor gave them an exam review sheet to be better prepared for their exam. And he mentioned their review sheet. You know, what kind of messed up behavior is this? And then there's one of my classmates. They're mentioning, the same classmate. He mentioned, does anyone remember what are the instructions? You can see here, instructions for the extra credit. And he's telling, and yet this person, the same person who told me somebody needs to take really good notes, is telling the class, does anyone remember what are the instructions for the extra credit? But did this person took good notes in class? No. Did it? Well, probably the person wasn't. Yeah, probably the person wasn't. He said, "Remember? Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember?" To me, this person was in class, but he wasn't paying attention in class. He or she wasn't paying attention in class and didn't write down the information in their notebooks in class. And by means extra credit, right? When they mention about this person is asking for instructions for the extra credit assignment, this tells me he didn't perform well on his or her exam. They did terrible, because if you perform really good on your exam, you wouldn't be asking anyone, do you remember what are the instructions for the extra credit? Now, as you can see here, one of my classmates, his name is Paul, he said, the man is so unclear, so I don't know anymore, referring to our professor, Mr. Juan. Mr. Juan, he's a Hispanic professor for anthropology, and his teaching is, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to understand this. His accent is thick. But anyway, when it comes to communication, Mr. On, he has difficulties actually teaching the material. It's not clear at all. And this my classmate is making others aware of it. But yeah, anyway, this is to show, I'm showing people how the program inside a quantum computer makes people speak to me, right? Yet the same person is asking the class, for instructions for their extra credit, and then, smiling, using emojis to actually express himself, and make it's like, to me, I feel like I'm being mocked, because you just mentioned about exam review sheet. That review sheet, ridiculous. Well, anyway, thanks for watching this video.